guys, this is Amir from Modern Subject Control. I'm here with Mr. Fletch Fuller, one of the founding fathers of modern subject control, an instructor I really look up to and I've learned a lot from at ILEADA in 2019 here. He's going to be showing us a nice defense from the back.
Okay. What we're going to talk about is I find myself in a situation where my attacker has got the hooks in and essentially has a solid back control. Now we're looking at this as from a weaponized environment or from a weapons-based environment. If I'm a law enforcement officer, I've got my gun on hip, taser, all that kind of stuff like that is centralized on my hip. And if he has his hooks in, that means he has basically his legs are wrapped around my waist, primarily over my weapons. It's going to be very, very difficult for me to access those. Plus, obviously, you have to worry about the primary consequence of him having my back, which is I'm getting choked or I'm getting punched or elbowed in the back of the head. So I'm just going to talk about some of the strategies and some of the things you can think about. You still have to pressure test it. It doesn't make it easy, but it definitely gives you a template. So because we're dealing with nobody's holding the camera, we're going to try to work and try to catch the angles, but the technique is going to be essentially looking at it from the back. So I'll kind of narrate my way through it, and we'll try to make sure we catch everything on the camera. Okay, so turn around. My partner can have the hooks in, which is a serious problem, right? So the primary concern that I have right now, number one priority, obviously, the person who has your back. If you forget everything else, is going to be keep your chin down. Anytime my chin comes up, it's just inviting it. And he doesn't have anything to do all day long except wait for me to pick my chin up. So if he's not attacking right away, then one of the things I may end up doing is saying, what's he doing back there? And I start looking over and I lift my chin up and all of a sudden it's over for me. So there's a lot of hand fighting going on here. And what I really want to try to do is make sure that I keep my chin tucked and I want to keep my hands up close. And any hand that comes over, whichever is right or left, because again, if he's looking for the choke, he's going to usually probably come in with one first and try to get up underneath my chin. I want to try to intercept that. So as he starts coming in with his right hand, I just want to try to dominate that hand. And I have to do something we call deny an anchor point. A bunch of different ways to phrase this. I like the term anchor point because what he's going to try to do, he's going to get an anchor point with this hand. This hand's either going to go straight to my shoulder, or he's going to go hand to hand, or the mother of all chokes is going to be, he's going to lock it all the way into an interlocking rear naked choke. All three of those are bad, but the primary thing that I'm really, really concerned about is just anchoring that hand down. So he's coming in with the right hand. I just want to try to intercept that, try to get solid wrist control. The time to defend this is going to be early. I definitely don't want to wait till it's totally locked in and fight my way back, because I'm not even in the game yet. I really need to try to fight my way back into the game. So I want to dominate this hand. Initially, I basically go two hands over the top like I'm doing a chin-up and try to intercept this. Now, I don't have all day long because eventually he's going to come in with the other hand. But I want to transition this out, and as soon as I start pulling this down away from my chin, I want to transition this into a baseball bat grip. Now, I'd love to be able to stretch it all the way out, but again, he's got some say-so in that, and I also got to worry about this. The timing is critical because he's coming in with the other hand at any given time. So I want to keep my other shoulder up over the top. I want to get this baseball bat grip, and I want to basically kind of tuck myself down, and I want to get this arm all the way over to the back. Now, I'm doing this really slow. This usually happens pretty quickly. The baseball bat grip by itself may get a good start on it, but once I go over to the other side, he doesn't like being in this position because he's out of position for a choke. But for the time that I have this into position, not only am I not being choked with this arm, but this arm is preventing me from being choked with the other arm. So it's really hard for him to reset without first freeing his hand. But again, I also have to worry about the counter. What he's thinking about doing right now, he wants to try to get this arm back, and he won't do it all at one time, but he'll start wiggling it back until he can get his elbow past my shoulder, and then he starts basically shortening the lever, and then all of a sudden I've lost the arm. So I don't want to stay here for too long. Once I transition over to this side, my outside hand is going to come up on the back of the tricep and lock it down. And this is a lot more secure. You can test this with either two hands. Even if I had three hands to hold us down, it's not going to be nearly as strong as this locking in even with one. The important thing here is obviously I'm blocking the choke with this hand and with the other hand, and then I definitely want to try to start putting weight on him. This frees this hand up a little bit to try to get rid of one of the hooks. The way I usually try to get rid of one of the hooks is I'll reach down and I'll grab the inside of the heel and just pick it up and drop it over the top. Now once I get rid of it, if I'm a righty and I have a gun on my hip, then maybe I can start thinking about accessing the gun. Maybe, maybe not. But the important thing to remember is obviously you're protecting the choke. I want to start working my way to the point, start stacking him, and then as long as I'm not thinking about the choke, that frees this hand up to start turning. And then either I'm accessing a weapon or I'm dropping punches on him over the top. The point is to try to diminish the bad guy, sometimes a little bit at a time, because this kind of fight is usually a game of inches. You're not going to wrap somebody up in a pretzel with one particular move. All right, so one more time. So again, I'm dealing with the hooks. I'm dealing with the threat of the choke. I want to intercept the choke and deny the anchor point. Remember, 3 primary anchor points is going to be to the shoulder, hand to hand, or the rear naked choke. As I start pulling this down, I'm going to transition this to a baseball grip, back grip, long enough to get the arm over the top, and transition to the tricep and tuck my elbow. Keep this locked in. Test this in training. You'll find this a lot stronger than simply the baseball bat grip. I want to drop one of the hooks and use this to start driving into him, turning, and uncover him long enough to think about dropping bombs on him and diminishing him and getting back into the fight. Okay? So, hopefully you guys found that informative and it's something that you can kind of plug into your game. Again, weaponized environment, weapon-based environment, definitely something where you have to sometimes bend some of the rules that we typically play in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you got to go there in your head before you ever have to face it in the street.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out Ready Up Tactical, and if you ever have the opportunity to go to Mr. Fuller's class, jump on it. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe.